Welcome back to the Peay Basketball Coaches Show, presented by our friends at TriStar Beverage. And starting next Monday night from 6 to 7, we'll be live from Buffalo Wild Wings in Clarksville. Come on out and join us just off Wilma Rudolph Boulevard. Have some great time, great fun. Mother Nature put a little kink in that plan tonight, but we're with you here from the 5-Star Radio Studios, the Governor Sports Network, the home of the award-winning Alan Barty. Every time we crack the mic, Alan makes sure we sound good as Ethan and I can calling basketball. So glad to have him with us tonight and glad to be with you as well. Coach Nate James joining us. And Coach, let's go back and recap two big wins. Started off ASUN play with two heartbreakers, at Queens and at North Florida. So we knew getting back to the Winfield Dunn Center, we had to defend the home hardwood. Had the #1 team in the ASUN walking into our place last Thursday night, and we walk out with a 61-59 win over Florida Gulf Coast. I know the after-game festivities were there. I know everything was there, but I want to go back to about the final 4 or 5 minutes. A game that you were up 6 to 8 points. They kept running at you. And I'll be honest with you, knowing what we've done the last couple of weeks, I got nervous. I'm not going to lie. Right. Sometimes you have to learn how to play with the lead and how to win. And I love the way we closed that game out.
Absolutely. You know, you have a young group, an inexperienced group that hadn't been in those moments. And so as much as you try to put them in game situations and practice and drill certain things, when you're out there and now you have to attend with a team who's really good and they're making their runs and, you know, refs are doing what they do. And you end up putting yourself in a position where, you know, now you have to learn how to pull it out. And those first two games where our last 4 minutes, you know, we go to that last media and, you know, we just would make some mistakes, some critical errors, whether it be, you know, blown assignments, leaving shooters, turnovers, all the things that you just know that are going to be just the backbreakers for you. And that's what happened in the first two games. And versus Gulf, we kind of did a lot of the same things. We were, I think, up 11 with 2.5 minutes or something like that to go.
Right, yeah.
And a three, a foul, a turnover. All of a sudden you look up and, you know, a weird call that happens, and now you're in a dogfight once again. But now when it does go your way and you do pull it out and you get to say like, wow, okay, we weathered the storm, we won. We can look at the film now with a different mindset because you won and didn't lose, you hadn't lost. And so now you really can grow and learn from that. And I think that's what we're doing.
And then the win on Saturday over Central Arkansas, 86-62. A team that was a little shorthanded, Central Arkansas, but regardless of who's on the floor against you, you got to do your thing. I thought early on the aggressiveness of getting to the rim, I thought playing inside out early on really kind of set the standard. And then I thought the spark that Fauntleroy and Roderick Massonet made when they came off, I thought the speed of the game, it's almost like somebody hit fast forward when those two popped off the bench, because we went on, if I'm not mistaken, a 12-0 run to really stretch out there at about the 11-minute mark. And I thought those two off the bench just changed the entire tempo and complexion of that basketball game.
Well, you know, before I comment on that, I just want to, you know, just prayers lifted to Coach Boone.
Yes.
You know, I know what his family's going through. They have heavy hearts, and the same with their players. So, just prayers lifted out for him for his speedy recovery. But our guys, you know, we needed a jolt, and you know, Rod and Guy coming off the bench, they definitely gave us that. And I think the Florida Gulf Coast game was the first game that, you know, Rod was
got to play.
And so you don't know, you kind of just grasping at straws a little bit, and you just need somebody to give something. And he gave us that boost, that grit, that energy, and that lead basically became contagious.
Yes. And
so now you want to see, all right, did we strike gold here? Did we, you know, have we found something? Let's see if you can do it again. And it happened again. And so now when you have energy off your bench, that's such an important deal. And so those two guys, they really gave us what we needed, and we just need more of it. But I just love their play on both ends of the floor.
2-2 now in ASUN play, but I want to give you a couple numbers in those 4 games that really jump off the page to me. You're playing shorthanded at the point guard. We're not hiding that. We know what Chino and we know what Guy has. We know we're missing some extra guys. You only got 9.7 turnovers per game in those 4 ASUN games. Fantastic responsibility with the basketball. You're shooting 47% from the floor. Yes, you're 2 up and 2 down, but the shots are coming. And I made that comment to you after the game that I thought the shots are coming in the flow. There's not somebody trying to do something special. I thought a couple of times, and forgive me if I just misread the floor, I thought a couple of times you cleared out and let some guys do some things individually Saturday in some certain situations, but the majority of what I saw Saturday was good five-man team basketball and good movement of the basketball.
Yeah, you really need it. I think it's about picking and choosing your spots. You know, our percentages were just horrific, you know, in the non-conference. You know, we're just taking a lot of bad shots.
Yeah.
And so players don't realize that, you know, it's not that you're in a slump if you're missing. It's just you're just taking some really contested, you know, shots that eventually, you know, I like to call them, you know, turnovers. They're shots that are turnovers because teams always run off bad shots. And so getting them to understand and watch film. But I watch a lot of film and buy into the fact that, look, this is a good shot, that's a bad shot. And I think once we did that and understood that, look, opportunities will still be there. Just trust the flow of the game, make good decisions, and know that your teammate is going to make the one more, make that extra pass. And you started connecting. And I always tell them that, look, I don't care who scores as long as Austin Peay is scoring. So let's just make sure we do it as a group, and you know, we'll be better. But you're right. The mismatches were there in terms of when a guy had a point guard had a big guy on him that we felt we could get by, do a little draw, converge the defense, kick out for shooters, or just get to the cup. And now, you know, Chino it does it in a different way.
Yes.
You know, I think he has 24 assists and I think 4 turnovers in 4 conference games. Unbelievable. And so he's a little more conservative with it, which is great. Love that.
Agreed.
And but the young freshman guys want to, you know, he's going to make some things happen in a different way.
I thought he put a cape on Saturday. Nobody thought he was going to. Nobody could stop him Saturday, at least in his own head.
Yeah, and it worked out. So let's keep having a workout, guys. Listening.
And Chino's one. I tell people all the time, you'll never meet a point guard that wants body contact as much as Peay does. Mm-hmm. He almost creates it every time. He'd rather have that than have that space to work on. Yes. Let's take a timeout here. Our final timeout. We come back. Nate James will stay with us. We'll look ahead this week. A scheduling quirk where the Governors see the Bison twice. Once at home on Thursday night, once on the road on Saturday. We'll talk about it. Presented by our friends at TriStar Beverage. This is the Austin Peay Basketball Coaches Show on the Governors Sports Network.